My beloved child, do not rush past this quiet moment. Rest your heart here with me, for there are graces of abundance that I once placed in your hands, which the darkness is quietly trying to steal. I have prepared a deep blessing carved with your name, waiting for a very long time for you to simply open your heart and receive it. Do not let this moment slip away. What I am about to speak to you is the key that will reopen the doors you believed were closed forever. So many spend their entire lives without realizing that their identity has become a wall blocking my goodness. Your financial worries and the erosion of your honor are not just random events. They are a silent war between my will and the shadow realm. If you do not open your eyes to see this truth now, the miracle I fashioned for you from the very beginning will remain suspended, just out of reach, hanging before you, but never touched. You believed you were merely struggling with a lack of resources, but in truth, you are walking through an invisible battlefield. The heavy pressure weighing down your shoulders, the moments when a breakthrough is so close yet slips away, these are not random misfortunes. This is where your identity, the precious name you carry, has been marked by lies that did not come from me. With every step you take, your name either welcomes my miracles or silently locks the doors I am trying to push open. Many live with the painful feeling that their path is always being cut short. Just as you try to step up, you feel pulled down the moment a small glimmer of light appears, only for dark clouds to roll in again. It is never because I do not hear you, but because invisible forces are disputing the ownership of your life. Your name, which I designed to be a sacred seal of blessing, has been turned into a target for accusations in the spiritual realm. But do not lose heart, my child. I do not show you this to weaken you, but to awaken you from this long fog of confusion. Once you recognize what is blocking your path, you will know how to stand in the authority I have given you. This battle is not meant for your defeat, but to prove that my promises are real if you will only refuse to let your name be turned into chains. I know the seasons when you poured out your whole soul to me, praying until your voice was hoarse, fasting until your body was exhausted, and believing until your heart felt ready to shatter. Yet everything remained completely unmoved. Your miracle was not gone, but it hung suspended between heaven and earth, visible to your spirit, but just beyond your physical reach. In those endless days of waiting, your inner being began to wither. Outwardly, you wore a smile to play your part and keep others from worrying, but inside, you were drying up like a flickering lamp running out of oil. You began to whisper bitter accusations against yourself, wondering if I had stopped listening, if you were no longer good enough, or if everything was already ruined. This state of a blocked miracle leads so many of my children into a weary, gray zone of faith. They do not walk away from me, yet they no longer expect anything great from my hand. That is the most dangerous place of all, where your body still sits in my house, but your hope has already been buried deep in the graveyard of disappointment. I do not tell you this to frighten you, but to awaken your spirit. Delay does not always come from my timing. Often it is a sign that a dark power is holding your miracle back, keeping it suspended like a cruel taunt. There are days when you lift weary hands, hoping that just a little more endurance will bring the breakthrough, only to watch your expectations shatter into silent, aching tears as the weeks pass. I know how many times your heart has whispered in the dark, asking why your prayers remain suspended. But in that quiet space, I see something far more critical than your unfulfilled dreams. I see a deep weariness slowly eating away at the trust you once had in me. As that trust erodes, a lie creeps in, telling you that you are no longer worthy of a miracle. Remember what I spoke in my word in Hebrews chapter 10, verse 38, that the righteous shall live by faith. Your miracle has not vanished, but your heart has grown weak before you could reach it. In this long, painful waiting, You felt as if all your efforts were vanishing into empty air, even though you kept doing what was right, kept praying, and kept your heart pure. I see you putting on a smile so that the people around you will not worry. But I also see the quiet nights, when you lie awake not daring to voice the heavy disappointment in your soul. You think I am distant, yet in truth I am standing so close that I can feel the very sigh of your breath. Do not forget that even when the promise has not yet unfolded, I am keeping you safe, just as I promised in Isaiah 41:10. Do not fear, for I am with you, and I will uphold you with my victorious right hand. This delay is never evidence of abandonment. It is the sacred space where I reshape your wings before you fly. I know it is hard to watch others step into seasons of ease while you still struggle through this silence. I want you to understand that every miracle I design carries a different weight. Some blessings arrive early because they are light and easy to carry. Others take longer because they contain greater glory. At times, I must lengthen your journey to protect you from a hasty arrival that could easily ruin what I have prepared. When I pause the path, you assume it is a failure, but in my eyes, it is a necessary preparation. Just as my word in Psalm 27 verse 14 tells you to wait for the Lord, be strong, and let your heart take courage. Stand firm, and I will handle all the rest. I see your soul wearing down day by day as you wait. A heart can easily face a sudden storm, but a slow, endless winter is what drains your strength. You feel exhausted, because no matter how much effort you pour out, you seem to remain trapped in the exact same place. But I need you to realize this truth. Not every standstill is a sign of failure. There are moments when I require you to stand completely still. As I declared in Exodus 14:14, I will fight for you, and you only need to be silent. When your life seems to freeze, it does not mean my blessing has stopped flowing. It means I am fighting for you in a spiritual realm that your eyes cannot see. Yet this very silence causes so many to slide into that gray zone of faith. You still come to me, but your heart is closed off. You pray, but without anticipation. You worship, but no longer believe a miracle can happen for you. My heart aches when I see you standing there, torn between half believing and half doubting my word. I have never once withdrawn a single promise I made to you, which is why I want to gently remind you that faith is not a passing emotion, but a living, breathing connection between you and me. If you allow your hope to remain buried, then even when my miracle draws near, it will struggle to find a landing place in your life. The deeper cause of this delay is not just your difficult circumstances, but the fierce war raging between your faith and the hostile voices crowding your mind. I see how often you blame yourself, deciding that you are not strong enough or spiritual enough. But I have never required you to be perfect in the way you imagine. I only ask that you come to me with a sincere heart, without hiding your pain or condemning yourself. I declared in Psalm 34:18 that I am close to the brokenhearted, saving those who are crushed in spirit. It is precisely when you are most weary that I draw nearest to you. This delay is not meant to expose your weakness, but to reveal my perfect, overflowing sufficiency. My child, I know there are days when you feel as though you are trapped in a long corridor with no exit. But that feeling is a lie. It is only the result of fixing your eyes on passing time instead of on me. Time discourages you, but I renew your strength day by day. You do not need immediate answers. You simply need a heart willing to hold my hand once again. The door of destiny does not open because of impatience. It opens when your heart is at peace enough to walk through it. Do not fear this delay, for it has no authority to write your final chapter. Delay can tire you, but it cannot defeat you as long as you continue to cling to me. While you think you are merely waiting for a financial breakthrough, I am building within you a person of spiritual depth, of true authority, and of capacity to guard the blessing when it arrives. The miracle I am preparing is not just to solve today's crisis, but to establish your entire future on solid rock. What I build in my silence is always greater than what you plead for in tears. And soon, you will understand why I chose you to walk this path. My child, when your heart begins to grasp the meaning of this delay, you will step into a far deeper level of understanding. It is not merely earthly circumstances that hinder you, but unseen realities in the spiritual realm that are contending for influence over your life. What is taking place behind your name and behind the bloodline you carry is far more complex than you have imagined. But I am going to unveil these secrets to you, so that you no longer live in confusion, but walk in the authority I destined for you from the very beginning. There are silent truths that do not shout, yet they engrave themselves deeply upon your destiny, and you only recognize them when you have walked far enough to grow weary and feel that something is working against you. I see your struggle, my child. Even though you have done nothing wrong, the heavy weight you feel is no illusion. In the vast, unseen realm, ancient voices have been echoing from generations long past, quietly forming invisible boundaries that you never agreed to, yet are still bound by today. This is not merely a story of your present moment. It is the lingering residue of old covenants once made by those who walked this earth before you. Remember my warning in Exodus chapter 20, verse 5, how spiritual consequences can reach down to the third and fourth generations. I do not tell you this to condemn you, but to awaken you. There are invisible cords tightening around you, silent declarations that no one names, yet everyone feels. One person works their entire life, yet reaps nothing. You have watched so many others struggle. One has immense talent, yet can never seem to break through the ceiling. Another comes so close to their dreams, only to watch them slip away at the very last moment. I want you to know these setbacks are not just bad luck or poor timing, but signs of invisible spiritual locks bound to your bloodline. Do not fear, my child, but understand this truth so you can finally stop blaming yourself. As I declared in Galatians chapter 3, verse 13, my son has redeemed you from every curse. Those ancient locks can be broken, but you must first see that they exist. Long ago, dark agreements were made, using the honor of your family line for quick protection, leaving you to walk under a shadow you never chose. Even your very name carries the weight of those old whispers. That is why the harder you try, the more you feel as though you are swimming against a violent, exhausting current. It is not because you are lacking, but because the spiritual tide has been set against you. I have seen every drop of your sweat, and I hear your heart cry out, asking why you labor so much, yet harvest so little. It is not that my miracles are slow to reach you, but that a battle is raging in the unseen realm, blocking the path. Remember what I revealed in Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12. Your struggle is not against flesh and blood. You are fighting unseen principalities. Tell me, do you know why gentle, kind, and hard-working souls watch every beautiful opportunity slip through their fingers? It is because an unseen boundary has been placed over their names, a silent restriction they do not even know is there. I did not set this limit. It is an invisible label left behind by those ancient agreements, whispering that you are not allowed to prosper, that you must never rise, and that you must always live with just enough lack to survive. It breaks my heart when you believe this struggle is your destiny, for I never ordained such a life of sorrow for you. I created you in my own image, to rule, not to be enslaved. That is why I gave you the eternal promise in John chapter 8, verse 36. If my Son sets you free, you are truly free. You do not have to carry the inheritance of darkness. I have given you the divine right to break every single chain. I know the deep confusion that clouds your mind, my beloved. So many believe that lack is only about a missing skill, a missed opportunity, or a simple lack of effort. They do not realize that a spiritual ledger has been written, actively working against the beautiful things I desire to pour into your life. You wonder why you do everything right, yet your harvest always falls short. It is because you are fighting more than physical circumstances. You are fighting ancient records that scream out a false identity, trying to drown out the sacred name I have given you. Listen to me with your whole heart. I have not destined you to live in a cage of generational limitation. I have chosen you to be the very one who stands up, breaks the cycle, and frees everyone who comes after you. Just as Joshua chapter 24 verse 15 speaks of turning away from the gods of old ancestors, you also have the divine right to cut the root of ancestral darkness. My child, though these shadows feel terrifyingly real, you must not tremble. My power is infinitely greater than any bondage, and my name stands far higher than any covenant forged in the dark. Simply draw near to me. Let me shine my holy light into those dusty, hidden corners of your history you never dared to touch. I do not want to merely pull you out of these twisted roots. I want to completely rewrite the legacy of your bloodline, so your children never have to pay for debts they did not create. When you stand up, the spiritual atmosphere around you shifts. I am with you always, as I spoke in Isaiah chapter 59 verse 1. Never forget that my arm is not too short to rescue you, nor is my ear too dull to hear your cries. Whatever is binding you cannot stretch beyond the reach of my saving hand. As you wake up to the truth buried in your bloodline, you will realize that the miracles of provision and honor I have for you are not just personal. They are meant to heal the very roots, the identity and the legacy you carry from the past. Look closely, and you will see that this war is not just about your money or your jobs. It is an assault on your name and your standing before me. When the enemy covers your true identity with lies, I will guide you forward, step by step, so you can see exactly what he has been trying to steal from your destiny. There are deep, bleeding wounds that do not show on your skin, but are carved right inside your name. Every time your name is spoken, you silently agree with ancient accusations that have clung to you for a lifetime. I watch your heart tighten when you remember the heavy pain of rejection, the shattered dreams, the failed efforts, and the doors that slammed shut. You have become your own worst critic, whispering the very dark words the enemy wants you to believe about yourself. He does not need to steal your money first. If he can strip away your self-worth, he wins. Because if you forget who you are to me, every beautiful blessing I long to pour into your life will feel far too big for a heart that is shriveled in fear. As is written in Proverbs chapter 23 verse 7, as a person thinks in their heart, so they are. When you accept a lie about yourself, your life begins to bend into the shape of that false label. I see you sigh in the quiet hours, looking at a bleak future, afraid to dream because past pain instantly floods your mind. You close the door before you even knock. But my child, those labels of being a failure, lagging behind, or never being enough do not come from me. They are cheap stickers slapped on by the world and the enemy, not by the loving hand that knit you together in your mother's womb. I call you by a holy name written in the book of life, where there is not a single line calling you defeated. Hold fast to my promise in Isaiah chapter 43 verse 1. I have called you by your name, and you are mine. When my voice speaks your name, every other label must step aside and dissolve. What breaks my heart most is not just that you are wounded, but that you have believed the lies for so long that they have become your inner truth. You live so carefully now, trying to be invisible, terrified of making a mistake or facing rejection again. I never designed you to live in hiding, shriveled up in fear. I made you in my image, powerful, highly valued, and crowned with honor. But when you agree with the accuser, Your own words validate a sentence I never passed. I need you to wake up to this truth today. As James chapter 3 verse 10 warns, blessing and cursing should not flow from the very same mouth. If you use your breath to condemn yourself, how can you receive the beautiful blessings I stretch out to you? Often, I open a new door for you, but you walk through it with your head bowed, feeling completely unworthy. You think my favor is reserved for those who are more perfect, talented, or holy. But that is not how I choose my children. I look at the heart, not at your earthly credentials. Your gentle, bruised spirit is more precious to me than any talent. Think of the great souls in Scripture. They all carried terrible labels until I stepped in and renamed them. Abram became Abraham under my covenant. I made Sarai into Sarah and Jacob into Israel. I did not give them new names as empty titles, but to call forth their true royal destiny. Do you understand why the enemy wants to steal your honor before he touches your possessions? It is because honor is the fertile soil from which my blessings bloom. If you believe you are worthless, you will never dare to ask for great things, nor will you fight to keep what is precious. This is how the dark cycle traps you. You build a little, only to fall. You climb higher, only to lose your way. The enemy is terrified of you realizing you are my child. As John chapter 1 verse 12 says, "To all who receive and believe, I give the right to be children of the living God." You are not just saved from the dark, you have been crowned with my own authority. Those lying labels do more than cause pain. They blind you to the beautiful steps I have prepared for you. When you believe you are small, you will hesitate to step into the massive inheritance I have made ready. When you feel lacking, you pull away from my infinite grace. When you feel weak, you run from the doors I have unlocked for you. My child, I am bringing you to a threshold far wider than your wildest dreams. I want you to walk as a royal heir, not as a desperate beggar. Let me wash your mind clean of every lie, so you can hear my gentle voice calling you forward. You are my masterpiece, not the product of failure. Today, you and I are going to look far beyond the surface of your struggles, because my eternal will is beginning to unfold a much deeper reality in your life. The heavy labels the world has placed upon you do more than just make you afraid to take the next step. They actually blur the glorious destiny I am weaving for you. You have been crying out about what you think is merely a money problem, but that is only the outer shell. I am touching dimensions of your soul you have not yet recognized, and I am preparing to lead you into them. My timing confuses you, and you wonder why I do not move at your speed. You ask me for a tiny margin to pay your debts, but what I see in you is always so much greater than what you ask. If I were to answer your prayers instantly, without first healing the depths of your heart, the very blessing you receive would become a burden far too heavy for you to carry. I never want to place a gift in your hands that will cause you to stumble. Remember my promise in Proverbs chapter 10, verse 22. My blessing brings true wealth, and I add no painful toil to it. If I have not yet opened the door, it is not because I am withholding. It is because I am dismantling the traps that would wound you once the blessing arrives. I intentionally close certain doors, and though you think I am refusing you, you cannot see the hidden dangers behind them, the envious companions, and the deceptive paths that lead straight to bondage. There are successes that look like beautiful gifts, but actually lead your soul straight into pride. While you see only a fleeting moment, I see the entire picture of your life. When I appear to slow things down, do not think I am slow. I am shielding your steps, so you do not wander into a place that was never meant for you. As it is written in Psalm 121, verse 7, I will keep you from all harm. You have no idea how many disasters I have quietly removed from your path, simply by whispering, not yet. This delay is the precise alignment of heaven. I am rearranging circumstances, clearing the road, removing those who wish to exploit you, and healing your soul so you can stand firm and not tremble when the great blessing arrives. Do not despise this quiet preparation, for it is the very foundation of the season of abundance you are about to enter. As 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 10 promises, "After you have suffered for a little while, I, the God of all grace, will personally restore you and make you strong, firm, and steadfast." I must lay a deep foundation before I build the house. Understand this clearly. A financial miracle is never my final goal for you. It is merely a tool I use to reshape your character, your faith, and your vision. If you only cry out for money, you ask for something far too small. But if you ask me for transformation, you will receive an entirely new life. Many receive my blessings, but never attain maturity. Without maturity, a blessing becomes a giant magnifying glass that exposes and enlarges every hidden weakness. I refuse to let you step into success with an unripe heart, because that weight would destroy you from within. As Psalm 37 verse 4 teaches, "Delight yourself in me, and I will give you the desires of your heart." But first, you must allow me to transform what those desires are. I am changing the very path you walk upon. Soon, you will look back and realize that I was never late. I was simply meticulous in every stage of your preparation. You are not being left behind. You are being prepared to go farther than you ever imagined, far beyond what human haste could ever produce. Once your heart begins to recognize the deep purpose of this process, I will lead you into the land where blessings are no longer a test, but a powerful testimony to your faithfulness. But, my child, as you prepare to touch this blessing, I must warn you about the most delicate point of the entire journey. This is where so many stumble, not before the miracle, but after it arrives. The greatest danger is not your current lack of money, but the risk that once you have it, you might lose your connection to me. I rejoice when I see your long-awaited joy take shape, but immediately after that joy, there comes a subtle shift in your focus that only a father's watchful eye can perceive. Sometimes the arrival of abundance causes your heart to shift in a dangerous direction. You quickly grow accustomed to having plenty, forgetting the desperate days when you wept in lack. It is not that you mean to be ungrateful, but your heart is easily distracted by what is new. This is why I warn you in Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 11, to be careful that you do not forget your God. You do not do it on purpose, but the blessing comes so gently that you assume you are safe. You begged me to lift you up, but that very height made it harder to hear my whisper. You became busy, honored, and burdened with responsibilities. If you do not guard your heart, these good things will take the place that belongs to me alone. I've watched many of my children start in deep humility, only to end in pride because they believed they created their own success. I do not condemn them, but I grieve for them. The thing most worth keeping is never your new possessions, but that old heart, the tender heart that once trusted me against all odds. Remember the words of 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 7. What do you have that you did not receive? If you recognize that everything came from me, you will guard your life differently. I know you do not mean to drift, but abundance tempts you to focus only on what can be seen. You become so busy managing the gift that you neglect the giver, and suddenly my favor feels like a heavy pressure. When that happens, your joy becomes a heavy burden, and genuine gratitude is replaced by hollow obligation. A blessing that is not kept in its proper place will make your soul more weary than lack ever did. But if you allow me to hold the highest throne in your heart, then no matter how great the blessing, it will never control you. As Matthew chapter 6, verse 21 declares, "Where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." I want your anchor to be in a place that can never be shaken. I do not keep you from possessing wealth. I only fear that wealth will possess you. I rejoice in your success. But I have watched hearts fall apart in the middle of the very blessings they begged me to give them. Many forget that a blessing is not the destination, but a beautiful tool through which I reveal my kindness to the world. If you keep an open heart, my blessings will flow through your life like pure, clear water. But if you hold on too tightly, that water will stagnate and spoil the source. I counsel you, as written in Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 9, to honor me with your wealth. It is the surrender of your soul that protects every gift you receive. My child, the greatest danger is never losing your money. It is losing me from the center of your life. When I am pushed aside, success becomes a mirror that magnifies your flaws. I will not let you drift. I teach you to love me first, so that you never lose yourself. Gratitude is not merely a polite attitude. It is the heavy anchor that keeps your soul steady amid the sweeping waves of prosperity. As long as thanksgiving is alive within you, the blessings I give will remain safe in your hands. Remember, the financial breakthrough you have waited for is not the final destination. It is a gentle test to see whether you will choose to be a stagnant reservoir or a flowing channel. A reservoir hoards my gifts and quickly becomes polluted. A channel allows my love to flow freely, constantly bringing fresh water. I want you to be a holy channel, one through whom my favor passes to others and through whom my name is honored. When you live this way, your blessings will never run dry, because I am a source that never stops pouring out. In this very moment, you and I are standing together in a gentle silence, because it is precisely here that I can whisper the things you were once too weary to hear. Today I want to engrave a deep truth upon your heart that the world can never explain. In my spiritual kingdom, nothing moves simply because of desperate needs or hard circumstances. Everything is set in motion by what flows from your heart, by your faith, by the tenderness that allows me to lead you, and by the humility that bows before my holy will. When you stop struggling and begin to listen, when you finally lay your heavy burdens at my feet instead of clutching them to your chest, I am already at work, moving quietly in the unseen places to restore your soul. Right now, in the quiet spaces of the unseen, I am loosening heavy chains that your eyes cannot yet detect. Those ancient financial doors barred and bolted against your family for so many years are finally beginning to give way under my touch, even though you do not feel it yet. I am reaching into the deep past, erasing every dark record that has clung to your bloodline, wiping them away by my absolute authority. Generations ago, silent spiritual verdicts were whispered against your name, judgments that hung like a thick film of dust over your life, pulling you backward. But today, I am breathing a fresh, powerful wind over those faded files. I am rolling up each worn-out page of lack of debt and of dead ends, bringing them to a final, permanent close. I am shattering every heavy accusation you have been forced to carry for so long. Those bitter words your ancestors never intended to pass down have clung to your blood like an invisible stain, but I am cleansing them now. I am rescuing you from the dark whispers that have followed you like a shadow, waiting to steal your hope every time you tried to step into a new day. They wanted to dim the brilliant light I placed inside your soul before the foundation of the world. My child, listen to me. That light has never gone out. You have simply lived through weary seasons that blinded you to your own brilliance. You think you are ordinary, but I've carved my own sacred image into your spirit, and you are far stronger than you ever dared to believe. No matter how many earthly or spiritual powers try to cover it up, that light will pierce through every layer of darkness to bring you back to the true identity that has always belonged to you. Today, you and I are standing at a turning point, and I speak this with deep solemnity and infinite love. Your name is being restored. What harsh circumstances have done to tarnish your honor, I am polishing until it shines once more. The opportunities that slipped away, I am turning back toward you in ways that will leave you absolutely amazed. The promises you thought were lost forever are returning as a miracle I prepared long ago. I am placing a financial gift marked with your name directly into your hands, not because you are perfect, but because my grace is endless. Not a single plea you have ever whispered has been lost in the empty air. Even your smallest, quietest prayers have risen straight to my throne like a sweet fragrance, and not one tear you shed has been meaningless to me. I have gathered every single drop. I heard your silent sobs in the deep of the night when no one else knew, and your heavy sighs when sleep refused to come. I saw your self-accusations when you felt less than others, even though you had given everything you had. I know you feel completely unworthy, but I look at your broken heart and see your wounds. Yet you still choose to trust me, even if it is only with a faint, trembling breath. That is what truly moves me. I am not a distant, cold judge demanding repayment, but a father who loves you. I come to you now as a loving father, bending down to comfort a child who is completely exhausted by the trials of life. I am the one who patiently waits for you, even when you doubt, even when you complain or find it hard to believe. Though I am the Lord of all power, I approach you with a gentle spirit, ready to draw you close to my heart. In return, I ask only one thing from you, a simple thing that is the foundation of every miracle. Keep your heart steadfast. To be steadfast does not mean you never feel afraid. It means you refuse to let your soul be swept away by voices that make you forget my promises. It means standing firm before the invisible, trusting what I am doing in secret, and keeping your gratitude alive before the blessing even arrives. Being steadfast means you continue to place your hand in mine even when you do not understand the path I am leading you down. That steady faith is the solid rock beneath your feet. When miracles finally touch your life, they will not sweep you away like a sudden storm, but will remain as a lasting testimony of my deep love for you. Understand this. Every time you stand firm in faith, the spiritual realm aligns with my holy decree. When your heart is unshakable, the forces of darkness cannot move you. When you cling to me, every curse that once held you captive must let go, because no darkness can live in a heart that knows it belongs to me. When you hold tight to hope, the financial doors that were once shut will swing wide open as if they were never locked. When you surrender your worries to me, every unjust spiritual debt that has demanded payment will be cancelled by my hand. When you choose to walk in humility, the blessings I pour out on you will never become a burden to carry. And when you walk in obedience, the work I perform in your life will go far beyond changing your circumstances. It will transform how you perceive yourself, how you view others, and how you understand me. Never assume my work is limited to your finances or your social reputation. What I am doing is always deeper, wider, and far more enduring than what your eyes can perceive. I do not merely answer your prayers. I'm restoring your soul, rebuilding your true identity, and positioning you exactly where you were destined to stand. Today, when I declare that your name will be restored, I'm not just speaking of honor in this temporary lifetime. I am speaking of your name written in heaven, your name established in the Spirit, and your place in my eternal plan. When I tell you that the financial miracle carrying your name will return to your hands, I'm not offering you a quick, temporary rescue. I'm giving you the right to step into a sustained season of abundance that you can hold without losing who you are. When I assure you that nothing of yours is ever overlooked, I'm reminding you that my love stretches far beyond your understanding. Let this truth sink deep into your heart. I have never taken my eyes off you, and even when you feel lost, I am walking right behind you, watching over each step. Even when you lose your way, I preserve the path, so you will never slip out of my protective hand. When you feel like giving up, I sustain your very breath so you can keep moving forward. I've come to you today not just to speak words, but to completely renew your heart. I'm here to remind you that you are never alone, never forgotten, and never abandoned. You belong to me, and because you are mine, every single miracle you need will arrive at its perfect appointed hour. Every blessing you requested will be granted in the best way, and every closed door will open to the rhythm I have established. Keep your heart steadfast, my child. Do not let the storms you survived make you bitter, and do not let human words diminish the immense worth I placed within you. Do not allow the delay of a miracle to make you doubt my love, and do not let any dark word convince you that you are a failure. Let me call your name once more, not with the harsh voice of this world, but with the voice of the one who fashioned eternity itself. Guard your tender heart, for it is the sacred space where I am weaving back together every broken strand of your life. When you stand firm, everything else will fall into place. My child, do not let the dust of weariness settle over your soul, like a heavy veil that dims the light I am kindling along your path. Exhaustion is not your final story, and it has no authority to block the future I have designed for you. Even on those days when you wake up feeling completely empty, yet it is in those very moments of heavy silence that I am calling you to slow down, so you can hear my voice clearly in the middle of the noise. The voices of fear will try to torment your mind, painting dark shadows that make you feel totally abandoned. But my voice is always present, gentle, steady, and strong, reminding you that no wind of anxiety can ever drown out the words of life I have spoken over you. Remember, accusations only come from the dark, but abundant life comes from me alone. When you feel fear trying to scream deep inside your soul, you and I will face it together as your spirit rises like a warrior. Stand tall and declare with your whole being that you know I am far greater than any threat. Speak it out loud, not so that I can hear, for I always hear your heart before you even open your mouth to speak. I want you to say it, so your own soul is reminded of the truth. Everything that belongs to you has not vanished, has not lost its way, and has not been stolen. It is simply moving toward you in the precise time I have appointed, a divine schedule that never misses a single beat. When you speak aloud and declare, "I believe what belongs to me is drawing near," you are doing more than just speaking words. You are raising a sacred altar within your spirit, where your faith becomes a fire that burns away every ancient lie that has clung to you. You may not see it, but every time you speak my promises, heaven moves in response, and the darkness trembles, because it cannot defeat a person who holds on to faith. If in this very moment, as you receive these words, your heart suddenly stirs, as though something has touched a deep, hidden place, know for certain that this is no passing emotion. This is not the fragile sentiment of a weak soul, but the powerful confirmation of my Holy Spirit. He is awakening what has slept within you, affirming that my word has not missed its mark. You are not standing outside my blessings. You are the very one whose name I am calling in this hour. You and I have walked through the broken stretches of your road, and though I saw you want to give up so many times, you chose to stand again. That is why I come today to sow this seed of faith while it is burning hot in your spirit. Do not let it cool, for your harvest is finally drawing near. Do not let your cold human reasoning extinguish the holy fire my spirit is igniting deep within you. Walk and act like one who truly believes, for living faith never stands still. It is always moving, always ready to take the next step. Press that button, like this video, not as a shallow gesture to the world, but as a sacred sign that your soul agrees with my living word. Let your hand do what your heart is already blazing to do. Let your fingers write down a bold declaration, not to impress anyone else, but to seal this eternal truth within yourself. Cry out, "I believe the financial miracle bearing my name is being released right now." Every word you type is an arrow shot straight into the dark, shattering the lies that you are unworthy. You are no bystander, my child. You are the very one standing at the center of my divine plan. When you share my word with those around you, do not do so as one who claims to have already reached the mountain peak, but as one who gently takes a brother or sister by the hand to walk out of the wilderness together. The dry desert you have survived was never yours to walk alone. Countless souls are just as parched as you once were, as thirsty and desperate for a way out. Every single time you speak my truth, you become a golden channel through which my miracles flow. And remember, my blessings never stop at a single vessel. They always pass through you, only to return to your life in a far greater, overflowing way. You may think you are only helping others when you share. In truth, you are opening the very windows of heaven over your own household. I take great delight in watching you freely give away what belongs to me. Every time you release a word from my throne, you declare to the spiritual realm that you do not try to own the blessing, but are simply moving with its eternal flow. My beloved, do not hesitate to take these small, quiet actions. They are the true language of faith. They are the first steps leading you out of the dry, withered past and into the inheritance where I have called you to stand firm. You cannot see how far your faith will reach, or how your bold confession might rescue a sinking soul from the pit of darkness. At the very moment you share, someone on the edge of despair is pulled back. Heaven does not need grand displays. My eyes search the earth for a heart willing to agree with what I am doing, and I have found that heart in you. Sow this seed of faith deep into the rich soil of your soul. Let it sink deep, let it take root, and let it grow to cast a wide, protective shade. Let your life become a living testimony that you no longer walk in fear, but in an unshakable trust. The seed I place in your hands is not poor, weak, or empty. It holds the entire harvest of your future. Your only task is to keep it, to water it with my promises, and to guard it fiercely from the whispering voices of doubt. Do this, and a miracle will sprout from the barren ground. Know this truth as you step toward the miracle. My blessing is running toward you. We shall meet at my appointed time. Hear me now, for there is no seed I sow that ever falls to the earth in vain. Because of this, I need you to stand firm. Keep the fire within your chest burning bright. Dare to speak aloud the things you believe, and boldly share the gifts you receive from my hand. In these seemingly small, ordinary actions, you are actually opening the heavy doors for a brand new season to flood your entire life. You are not alone in this fight. You have never been alone. I, the very Creator who calls you by your personal name, am standing right beside you to prove that the wheels of your blessing have already begun to move. There is nothing to fear. All you must do is believe, listen closely, and walk in perfect step with the sound of my voice. My child, I watch your quiet steps through this season of fiery testing. I see how you struggle to keep your heart pure, even when heavy burdens threaten to break you. Because of your faithfulness, I have set a deeper plan in motion. I am not just saving your soul from the shadows. I am rescuing your entire family line, redirecting your bloodline, and rewriting the history of everyone who carries your name. This work was never for you alone. An entire generation has waited for someone brave enough to stand up and shatter the chains of bondage that have held your family for years. The hour of deliverance is closer than you think. The light I plant in you will flood every room and every relative like a river, bringing life to a dry summer field. I am sweeping away the obstacles so that my glory can visit your household. The hidden, painful corners of your past, once seen as permanent wounds, will become powerful monuments of my redemption. When I step into your story, No critic will be able to argue. I will make this transformation so undeniable that your enemies will fall silent. No whisper of slander will be able to cover the truth, and no jealousy will ever extinguish the flame I have lit in you. I have seen the painful years your family endured, ridicule, and the times others looked down on you. I watched the rumors wear away your family name, like water cracking a stone. But I promise you, I will not let that suffering be the final chapter of your life. When I rise to move on your behalf, I do not merely patch up your broken reputation. I lay an entirely new foundation for you, one that is firmer, brighter, and set high above your troubles. The very struggles that once brought deep shame to your house will soon be spoken of in a completely different way. They will be retold as stories of grand miracles, of supernatural rescue, and of my divine power breaking through doors that seemed permanently shut. People will look at you and say, "Surely this is the Lord's doing." You will not have to struggle to prove your worth to anyone, because the restoration I bring will speak for itself. Every heavy debt of the soul of honor and of identity is wiped clean by my grace, replaced with overflowing abundance. I will never give you just barely enough to survive. I will give you more than enough, so that the very people who witnessed your family's struggle will stand in utter amazement at the change. And understand this, my child. What I am restoring is not just land, money, or physical things. I am restoring your name. The true name I have held close to my heart for you since before the world was made. The name that people once judged, mocked, and loaded with heavy prejudice. I will lift high before angels and men. I will cause those who doubted you to wonder how such overflowing grace could fall upon your life. I do this not because you are perfect, but because my love for you is absolute. By honoring your name, I honor my own. Those who once whispered against you will watch this great turning with their own eyes, and those who scoffed will be left completely silent. The mouths that were so accustomed to pointing fingers and accusing you will find they have absolutely nothing left to say. I'm going to clothe you in a beautiful, undeniable coat of redemption. When my hand touches your bloodline, even the deep generational pain that has lingered for decades will be undone layer by layer. I will untie the heavy ropes that have bound your family for so long that they actually believed those chains were just a normal part of life. You will be the very first in your lineage to step onto the soil of true freedom, where the old shadows can never pull you back. After you cross over, others in your household will be drawn into this brilliant light, not because of their own works, but because of what I am doing through you. Prepare your heart for this new season. You think you only need to get ready to receive a blessing, but I'm calling you to be a living witness to my glory. Lift your expectations far beyond human logic and enter the realm of pure faith, the kind of knowing that sees heaven moving, even when the earth is completely still. Before I do something grand, I always whisper a gentle stirring into the spirit of my chosen ones, letting them make room for the floodgates. You have already felt this quiet shift, even if you could not name it. I'm drawing you out of confinement into a vast space. I want you to begin preparing right now. Do not just gather your physical documents, your business plans, and your practical strategies, but expand the very capacity of your faith. The massive blessing I am preparing to place into your hands requires a far larger space than anything you have ever imagined. The doors I am about to swing open will demand that you walk through them with a stronger, bolder, and more courageous spirit. You simply cannot step into a brand new season carrying your old heart, for that old heart has grown far too comfortable with lack and constant doubt. I am stretching your inner being today, so that you can actually hold the immense weight of glory and favor I am about to pour out. This deep preparation is not so you can prove yourself to me, but so you will not be completely overwhelmed when I swing open doors you once felt unworthy to walk through. When my heaven begins to move, every boundary that humans have constructed dissolves like thin smoke in the wind. What your eyes view as highly unlikely, I see as already finished by a single word from my mouth. What you call impossible, I hold as a tiny thing in the palm of my hand. You have spent far too long living in timid caution, constantly weighing your fears, until you forgot that I am the sovereign God who parts the seas, brings dry bones back to life, and breaks open iron prison doors in the dark. If I spoke the universe into existence, can I not redeem your life in a second? My child, you and I are beginning a complete restoration, for I choose to act only at the perfect moment. I am not merely changing your outward circumstances. I am shifting the destiny of your entire lineage. Prepare yourself for a new way of living, a rhythm where anxiety no longer dictates your breath, but is replaced by trust. Soon you will realize you are no longer weighed down, no longer trembling at the mention of debts, and no longer hiding from the eyes of others. I am rebuilding your name. You will walk with a confidence that is not born of your own strength, but of my eternal presence beside you. In the heavens, a great movement is already rushing toward you, and my angels stand ready, like skilled craftsmen preparing their tools to loosen every locked bolt. The dark places where you were held captive are opening, and the old iron bars are breaking. Every source of provision that was once blocked is now being released back to you. Understand this clearly. All of these blessings are bound to your name. It is not because of your own goodness, but because I chose you long before the world was laid. You belong to me, and you are mine. Therefore, the abundance flowing over your life will never dry up. This blessing carries my own holy name, and I never act halfway. What I do for you will be complete, overflowing, and resounding. I am acting so that everyone will see that I am the God of redemption and irreversible restoration. Keep your heart soft, keep your steps steady, and keep your eyes fixed on me. The rest is already finished. My beloved child, I have watched every step you have taken in the shadows. I saw you stumbling through the dark, yet stubbornly shielding your tiny flickering flame from being extinguished by the wind. I understand the secret, agonizing turns of your path that no other human was close enough to perceive. You have carried weights so immense that your very soul felt as though it would buckle under the pressure. Yet, because you dreaded causing pain to others, you wore a brave smile instead of letting the harsh truth show. You chose silence over speaking words that might have shattered the fragile peace of those around you. I know how deeply you longed to take one deep breath and release that burning despair. In those sleepless nights, I saw the words you swallowed. Even when the weight of the world felt beyond your strength, you found a way to stand up and hold fast to the words I planted deep inside your spirit. I know you believed my promises had faded away, like an old forgotten song. But in my eyes, every word I spoke over you is just as vibrant, fresh, and radiant as the moment I first whispered it into your heart. Nothing has lost its weight. Not a single sentence I have written for your life has been erased by the passing years. I have never abandoned a single desperate prayer you breathed out into the silence, and I have never ignored the tears you hid because you feared being misunderstood. Today, you and I can see that because you kept moving forward, my eyes have never left you. You are the one I will lift high. You cannot see how, in the invisible places, I have been shifting the universe just to bring you safely to this moment. I have rearranged circumstances and turned events that seemed completely unrelated to your life. There were times I placed a barrier in front of you, not to make you wander, but to prevent you from walking into paths that would have torn your soul apart. I held you back from opportunities that looked golden to your human eyes, but were actually deadly traps hidden beneath the surface. You saw a closed door and cried out in rejection, but in truth, what you labeled as a failure was my hand rescuing you from ruin. If I had let you enter those doors too soon, you would have lost the one thing more precious than any blessing you want: your very soul. There were dreams you held dear that seemed perfect to you, but I saw the pain that waited at their end. I knew that if I did not intervene, your spirit would have been crushed in ways you could never recover from. I purposely severed certain relationships from your life. Yes, you wept and you suffered, but I knew that staying in them would only forge heavy chains to steal your destiny. I blocked certain paths, not because you lacked worth, but because the trials waiting there would have broken your capacity to endure. None of this was my anger or my punishment toward you. It was my love, so precise and delicate that you can only truly understand its beauty when you look back. What you perceived as a long, frustrating delay, I called alignment. I am rebuilding your entire foundation. I am clearing away everything that no longer belongs in your life, waiting for specific people to mature in their faith so they can fulfill their purpose beside you. I am shifting and aligning the very relationships you will need for the days ahead. I am guiding the steps of others so their paths will cross yours at the exact moment of your greatest need. Right now, I am preparing doors of opportunity that you think are completely unrelated to your life. Soon, you will see how beautifully they weave together, created with divine wisdom. What you once lamented as a missed opportunity was actually a stepping stone I placed to keep you from falling. I will never let you slip into a meaningless void. I am paving a brand new road where there was once only a wilderness. You have walked through the fires of testing and traveled deep enough into the dark to recognize my voice, even when I speak in absolute silence. Through the struggle, you have learned to stand strong without needing any human hand to prop you up. Together, you and I have watched your faith deepen, learning to trust me when nothing around you resembled my promise. You kept walking, even when every sign screamed at you to surrender. It was in those hidden, painful places that I watched you grow into who you are now. Your quiet endurance has kept you near to my heart and brought you to the gates of a reality larger than your wildest dreams. The old cycles are ending now the pieces are falling into place, and you are stepping into the fullness of the moment I have ordained. Not a single tear you have wept was ever wasted, and not one of your desperate pleas vanished into nothingness. Every trial you endured has been transformed into raw material, which I am using to build your pathway to the destiny I designed for you. You will finally understand why nothing was ever late. It is all arriving at the precise moment when heaven is ready, and your soul is mature enough to sustain it. My child, deep within the heavens, a radiant decree is waiting to be spoken over you. Your name is engraved upon it, in letters that can never be blotted out. This is not some general blessing scattered blindly to the masses. It is a sacred portion of my grand plan, written specifically for your life, meant for a path that only your feet are destined to walk. This decree has been weighed, examined, and sealed with divine approval in the highest courts of heaven. My angels stand at attention, ready to begin their assignments and unleash this blessing the moment your soul is strong enough to carry its glorious weight. But as this preparation unfolds, winds of resistance have begun to swirl around your life. Dark forces are trying to delay, to lock down, and to divert you from the inheritance that belongs to you. They do not have the power or the right to defeat you, but they seek to wear down your spirit. They know that if they can make you doubt, you might step away from the path before the harvest is ready. Stand firm, because I have already spoken your victory, and no weapon formed against you will ever stand. The enemy knows that this blessing arrived before your heart was sharpened. It could become a wildfire that burns your life down instead of lighting it up. You thought I only wanted to give you some open doors or simple payment for your years of pain. But I see everything that lies ahead of you, things your eyes cannot yet perceive. I see the faces of those who will pretend to celebrate your success while harboring dark intentions in their hearts. I know the forced smiles of those close to you who secretly wish for your downfall. I see the quiet spirals of jealousy waiting for a single opportunity to tighten around you. My delay has been my protection, preparing your discernment so you can stand unshaken when the floodgates of my abundance finally open. I know there are people watching you, waiting for a single mistake so they can steal the inheritance I destined for you. In my spiritual light, I see relationships that look supportive, but are actually sweetened traps designed to hold you back. I see alliances that would become dangerous nets around your destiny if you entered them in your innocence. You see the immediate situation, but I see the entire journey of your life. For this reason, I held your blessing back until the soil of your heart was thoroughly cleared of hidden poison. Like a master gardener, I have been turning over the earth, pulling out toxic roots that no human eye can see. If I gave you this wealth before you were steady, it would have become a snare that brought you down. Never think that I doubt your strength, my child. I am guarding you in ways you cannot comprehend, using delay as my shield to protect your future. Today, you and I stand at the threshold of a new season, and I speak to you with a solemnity that heaven and earth must honor. The time is ripe. The soil of your heart is soft enough to receive the massive seed of my blessing. Your spirit has been tempered through dry seasons that looked like dead ends, but were actually divine favors to build your strength. You have learned to rise after defeat, to recognize my voice through confusion, and to guard your heart against false praise. This wisdom did not come from books, but from the scratches on your soul, which I have used as sacred tools to build your deep foundation. My beloved child, you and I know every step of the long road that brought you here. I have watched you hold onto hope when every single promise seemed delayed, and I saw how you lifted your voice in worship even when no miracles were in sight. When others took the easy way out, you chose the narrow path of true integrity. All of these silent victories have forged a deep, quiet strength within your soul, a capacity that can now carry my greatest blessings without cracking under the pressure. You are no longer chasing after empty gifts, because you have finally learned how to steward them. The extraordinary will not make you proud, for you know that this is not your achievement, but a testimony of my eternal faithfulness to open doors for those around you. My heart yearns to reach the broken souls in this world through the very fabric of your life. The abundance I am preparing to release into your hands is not merely designed to make your daily life comfortable, but to place you in the exact position of influence I have ordained. I want you to be a living, flowing river of my goodness, not a stagnant pool of selfish ambition. Understand that the weight of favor coming your way is unlike anything you have ever experienced. It will redefine your finances, expand the very boundaries of your soul, and multiply your capacity to serve. You will see doors open that you never had the courage to approach, and unexpected invitations will find you, proving that I am doing far more than just altering your daily circumstances. In both the heavenly spaces and the physical world, I am shifting your entire spiritual standing. With this elevation, I will begin to reveal the things that were once kept from your sight. I will show you the hidden motives, the quiet schemes of envy, and the hands that reach out in fake friendship while secretly trying to derail you from my path. Do not let this fill you with fear, but let it make you wise, for your growing light will inevitably stir the sleeping darkness. You must remember that great abundance is a profound test of the human heart. True danger rarely lies in having too little, but rather in having too much. In times of lack, you sought my face. Do not let prosperity make you lean on your own understanding, or forget that I am your true foundation. Through years of patient training in the secret place, I have prepared you to carry absolute abundance without losing your gentle spirit. You have finally learned to see every gift not as a personal possession, but as a sacred trust from my throne. Because you are mature enough to keep things in perspective, I can pour out more of my spirit without worrying that you will wander away from my presence. Today, I am laying my hand heavily upon your life to declare that your time has officially come. There will be no more delays, no more blocked roads, and no more spiritual enemies contesting the inheritance that carries my name over you. My angels are moving into place to usher you into this divine shift, because the soil of your heart is finally ready. Though you felt lost in seasons that seemed entirely pointless, every single valley was quietly building the foundation you need to stand strong today. When my hand opens to pour out favor, your eyes will see it through a completely different lens. This is not a reward for your struggles, but a sacred calling into a higher purpose. You will not panic when massive doors swing wide, nor will you shake when greatness demands your presence. I have woven supernatural courage and deep discernment into your very fiber. You will know exactly who to keep at a distance, who to walk beside, who to trust with your heart, and who to hand over to me for judgment. None of these spiritual treasures were built in a single night. In the hidden depths, when nobody else could watch, my hands were carefully molding you into who you are now. As you enter this prepared inheritance, you will notice a deep peace quiet your soul whenever trials rise. The opinions of others will no longer shake your stability, and you will quickly see through the empty promises of this world. I'm giving you this bounty, but I'm also giving you the spiritual capacity to guard it. Along with financial increase, I'm giving you wisdom, so that prosperity never becomes a trap for your heart. I'm revealing the true path, while exposing the clever mirages of the enemy. I do all of this because I love you with the infinite devotion of a father who knows your every breath, your quiet fears, and the secrets you never spoke aloud. Hear my voice today, whispering with a profound gentleness that carries the absolute authority of heaven. Prepare your heart to inherit what has been reserved for you since the very beginning of time. You do not receive this because of the superficial standards of this world, but because I designed it for you before the earth was formed. It does not come because you begged, but because I have kept my eyes on your quiet, steady faithfulness. You are not receiving this because you are strong on your own, but because my power has made your weak places solid. It is time to step forward and accept my hand without a single moment of fear or doubt. You are ready to hold this blessing as a sharp instrument of my grace, perfectly balanced for the battles ahead. Step forward today, not as a beggar collecting scraps of favor, but as an ambassador, carrying my divine mandate. This is far more than a simple blessing. It is a formal commissioning into my service. This is not merely an open door. It is a heavy mantle being transferred to your shoulders. Do not view this as just another season of your life. This is the grand chapter of destiny you have quietly anticipated, even in those dark nights when you did not know you were waiting. I, the God who loves you with a love that never shifts, say to you now with absolute certainty, you are ready. The obstacles are gone, your soul is refined, and your roots run deep. You will know exactly what to do with my gifts, because you do not just have my blessings, you have me. As you ground your heart in genuine thankfulness and align your thoughts with my perfect will, my spirit begins to shift the physical world. I have dispatched a powerful angel dedicated solely to your path, and right now, that messenger is in motion. Moving in absolute silence, but armed with supreme authority, it is descending into the deep, forgotten vaults of your life. Every promise you thought was dead, expired, or lost forever is receiving my breath of life once more. This angel is stirring heavy, bureaucratic wheels, changing stubborn minds, and dusting off files with your name on them that have sat forgotten for years. It goes where you cannot, speaks to those you cannot reach, and reverses decisions that seemed final, bringing back everything meant for you. Every single injustice you quietly bore for all those years has remained completely visible before my throne. I have collected your tears and signed a brand new decree in the heavens, demanding that everything stolen from you must be returned. My messenger is executing this decree step by step, working in ways your human mind could never fathom. It is moving far beyond simple paperwork and standard procedures. It is actively shaping the hearts of powerful leaders, decision-makers, and those who hold the keys to your financial destiny and recognition. The complex legal delays, the endless red tape, and the frustrating errors you thought were random are actually being reordered by my hand to work for your ultimate good. Watch as I dismantle and reorganize the very systems that once shut you out and treated you unfairly. I am reshaping the minds of those who rejected your applications and shifting the priorities of the gatekeepers who hold the power to approve you. I will cause your name to speak loudly in the exact moment, in the exact ears of people who can change your whole life with one signature. You will see these miracles happen, not with dramatic thunder, but with a quiet ease, like a heavy door swinging open on its own before you even reach out to touch the handle. You have suffered long and wept in the dark, but I am personally ensuring that your losses are repaid in the physical reality of your daily life. Deep within the financial networks, resources have sat completely untouched for so long that your own mind has forgotten them. But I remember every single detail. I remember every hour you spent in agonizing worry over how you would survive, and every small prayer you whispered that you thought was too small for my ears. Not one of your tears has been lost. I am using them all today as the divine authorization for my angels to recover pending funds, unblock delayed payments, and revive forgotten contracts. Those who walked away owing you money will suddenly find themselves unable to sleep. I am stirring their memories and placing your face in their minds, gently softening their hearts so they return what is yours. Whenever I lay my finger on a human heart, there is no defense against my gentle pull. I will cause those who once looked down on you to suddenly feel a deep respect, and those who cast you aside to search for your name with gratitude. You and I are going to witness my supernatural power weave directly into your everyday existence. True blessings do not just fall from the sky. They flow through actual human channels, through real events and physical circumstances. Everything I have already sealed in heaven is about to pour onto your earth as official contracts, sudden bank transfers, and divine opportunities. Stand firm, my child, for a glorious new chapter is beginning right now, and I am leading you every step of the way. When these moments of glory arrive, my child, you will no longer look up and ask, "Why me?" You will see clearly that every victory was prepared before my face long ago. I am not simply releasing the blessings that have been held back. I am preparing your heart so you will not tremble when you step into this new abundance. I will open your eyes to see the hidden traps before you stumble. I give you the discernment to turn away from impure intentions and the wisdom to steward every single gift I send your way. Today, you and I are beginning a new journey, and I place within you a deep peace. Go to sleep without fear, for even when the wind howls, nothing can touch what I have ordained for you. Listen closely, my child, for true prosperity is never found in the numbers of your bank account. It is found in the quiet awareness that every single breath, every resource, and every joy comes directly from my hand. Because it comes from me, no earthly force can ever steal it from you. When you finally grasp this truth, you will walk with the quiet confidence of the protected, not panicking, not scrambling, and never again afraid of failure. You will learn to shut the door on the lies that say your future depends on the favor of other people. If I have opened a door for you, no one can shut it. And if I have released a blessing, no power on earth can stop it. I do not only give you abundance, I give you a heart that can hold it. I am not merely bringing you into a new season, but I am building a foundation beneath your feet so deep that no storm can ever sweep you away from my presence. Soon you will see that I am doing far more than just restoring what you have lost. I am positioning you to look ahead with a completely new confidence. You will no longer fear lack because you know my source never runs dry. You will no longer fear betrayal, because you know I am the one guarding your honor. You will no longer fear falling, because once my hand lifts you up, no one can pull you down. Every step you take from this day forward will be a deliberate stride of someone who knows my angel is going ahead of them, clearing the path and protecting what is yours. One day very soon, when you look back at this journey, you will break down in tears. These will not be tears of pain, but of overwhelming realization that I have always been working behind the scenes. Not a single moment of your waiting was meaningless, and not one of your sacrifices has been ignored. Every time you stayed faithful in the dark, when no one else was watching, I recorded it in my book. You will not just see the blessing, you will see me in every gift you receive. That is the most precious part, because while a blessing can change your circumstances, it is I myself who changes your destiny. Open your heart to me now. The days ahead are not for fear, but for fulfillment. Doors are swinging open, and your name is being written again. The promises we whispered in the spirit are finally becoming your physical reality. Stand firm, believe and receive, because the work I am doing in your life cannot be stopped by any human hand. As you step into this fullness, you will know that my love for you has never wavered, not even for a single second. You will enter this new season with a heart completely purified. I'm cleansing you of the illusion that you are the source of your own miracles, and washing away the quiet pride that once slipped into your small successes. When I lead you into this land of prosperity, you will no longer see your life as a string of lucky coincidences, nor will you credit your own strength or cleverness for the breakthrough. Your spirit, after so many years of being shaped by my silence and what felt like endless waiting, will become beautifully sensitive to my touch. You will recognize my movement in the smallest details of your day. In that moment, you will see clearly, but every open door was arranged by my hand. Every person you meet has been carefully woven into the plan I crafted for you before the world began. Every stream of provision is not for your own boasting, but so you will know I am keeping my promises. In this new season, you and I will walk in deep reverence. You will make decisions based on my leading, using your blessings as a tool to lift others up, rather than a ladder to display yourself. Your heart will grow into a maturity you never thought possible, because the blessings I have for you never stop at material things. My favor reaches into the deepest chambers of your soul, into the areas you believed would never see the light again. What I am preparing for you is not simply money to spend. It is my divine declaration that I see you, I remember you, and I hear every whisper you have breathed in the dark. I hold your prayers as precious tears in my hand. You will realize that this miracle carries the beautiful imprint of your own story, stamped with every time you fell and got back up, every unspoken fear, and every morning you gathered your last drop of courage to keep going. This miracle is born out of your perseverance, your quiet faithfulness, and the hidden battles you fought when no one was close enough to see your exhaustion. The more you understand this, the more you will handle my favor with a mature gratitude. You will not be shallow or showy, nor will you compare yourself to others, because you know this blessing is not a reward for perfection, but a sign that I have heard your cries and watched your life with a loving gaze. I speak to you now with tender love and firm resolve. Do not abandon your faith at the exact moment you are touching the greatest turning point of your entire life. My child, you have come way too far to turn back now. You have endured too much to let go of my hand now. I know how exhausted you are. You are tired to the point that some days you no longer have the strength to pray. Your heart feels as heavy as if it were weighed down with cold stone, and you can no longer separate what I am actually doing from what you are afraid of. But precisely because you have stood firm through the harshest seasons, I come today to tell you that there is only a very short distance left to go. If you give up now, you will miss the moment I have prepared to lift you out of your struggle. Your weakest moment is never proof that you are losing. It is the signal that my answer is closer than ever, like a warm breath near your lips. Through all these long years, as you walked through the storms of your soul, I have remained right beside you, always closer than you ever imagined. When you believed you were completely alone, that was when I was nearest, shielding you from trials you had no strength to face. You do not know how many nights I poured peace into your mind so you would not collapse, or how many times I kept your family from breaking apart. I stopped sicknesses before they could touch your body, and pushed back temptations so you would not slip away from the destiny I wrote for you. You thought you were managing on your own, but I was carrying you through every season of lack, keeping your heart from turning bitter. I'm the one who watched over your household when you had nothing left but weakness. Today, you and I are meeting in this moment not by accident and not by coincidence, but by my divine arrangement to breathe a fresh wind into the hope that has nearly dried up inside of you. I know you feel as though your life has hit a dead end lately. Debts piling up, opportunities slipping away, your honor misunderstood, and your strength completely spent. You have looked into the dark and could not see a single ray of light, wondering if I still pay attention to your suffering. But I speak to you now with absolute authority. Your story does not end in this valley of lack, nor does it end in struggle. Your story does not end before the heavy doors that have slammed shut in your face. What you are going through right now is merely a chapter, not the whole book I am writing about your life. Listen deeply to my voice in your heart. I will never let your legacy fade away in want and misery. I did not create you to end in defeat, nor did I lead you through years of refining fire only to abandon you at the final moment. Every pain you have suffered has immense value, and every tear is held in my hand. Your hidden prayers have already touched my heart. You do not see the movement because it is taking place in the unseen, like roots growing deep in the soil. But I promise you, new life is rising. Miracles are forming right now, and a beautiful new chapter is opening before us. You will no longer live from day to day in paralyzing anxiety, but in the steady confidence that I have ordained a glorious ending for you. One day soon, you and I will look back, and you will recount this journey in the triumphant voice of one rescued from the deepest waters. You will stand in a place of blessing you do not even dare to dream of today, and you will declare, "If it had not been for the Lord, I would not be here." Your waiting was not in vain. The price of your long years of perseverance will become your crown of honor, proving that you did not give up when giving up was the easiest thing to do. When you finally cross the threshold into this brand new season, you and I will look back, and you will see the grand design in every single thing I have done. Every trial was a setup, a divine alignment to reshape not just your immediate days, but the entire legacy of your family line. The abundance I am pouring out is not meant to stop with you. It is a holy stream that will cascade down to your children and their children, completely rewriting their minds, their spirit, and their way of living. Think of my servant Abraham, whose blessing flowed through centuries. Your blessing will do the same, breaking every chain of lack, silencing every doubt, and rebuilding the ruins. So do not let your heavy, tired eyes focus on your fatigue. Just cling to me a little longer. Turn your gaze toward my infinite strength instead of your own weakness. Stop staring at the doors that are slamming shut and look at my hand, which is already turning the key to a far greater entrance. Do not worry about what is missing. Look instead at my endless, overflowing treasury that I keep for everyone who calls me theirs. You are not destined to bend and break under this pressure. You will stand tall, knowing exactly who your Father is, who writes your destiny, and who holds your entire story, from the first page to the last. Remember this promise. What I started in you, I am going to finish. Not a single word of mine will ever fail. keep walking forward. Keep your heart open. Your ending will not be written in sorrow, debt, or regret. Your story will conclude with absolute restoration, redemption, and a fullness beyond your wildest dreams, because that is exactly where my hand is guiding you. The day is coming when everything I have quietly worked out behind the scenes will be displayed for the world to see, a living witness to my relentless devotion to you. Every single night you struggled, every quiet tear you wept when you thought you were completely alone, and every time you wanted to surrender but chose to stand because of the seed of hope I placed in your soul. All of it matters. These moments are being carved into a legacy that will prove to generations to come that I never speak in vain. You used to think your life was insignificant, yet that very struggle of yours will become a brilliant beacon of light for others lost in the dark, showing them that the Creator they call upon never breaks a promise. If you feel a sudden warmth stirring deep inside your chest right now, do not dismiss it. It is not some fleeting feeling, but my spirit gently brushing against your soul. Speak up and receive this. Let your own voice seal the destiny I am speaking over you today. Your words of faith are not empty noise. They carry the authority to shift physical realities. When you declare that you receive my restoration and the heavenly abundance meant for you, the spiritual world stops to listen. Angels prepare to move at the sound of your faith, for it is faith alone that moves my kingdom. My precious child, you and I are partnering in a grand design when you choose to release your faith. Even a small action, like leaving a quiet token of agreement here, or passing this message of hope to someone drowning in despair, ripples across eternity. Whenever you speak your belief aloud, instead of keeping it locked inside, you sound a great trumpet in the unseen world. You declare to the dark that you no longer dwell in fear, shame, or silence, but have stepped into your rightful place as an heir to my promises. Keeping your faith hidden is like leaving a seed in a jar. It holds potential, but without being planted in the earth, it can never grow or bear fruit to feed the hungry. By publicly declaring your trust in me and my word, you plant an eternal seed. That seed will grow and blossom not just in your own world, but in the lives of strangers you may never meet on this side of heaven. You might not realize it, but one small gesture from you today could be the very lifeline that saves a lonely soul crying out to me in the dark. I love it when you let yourself be a vessel for my love to flow through. When you become a channel of blessing to others, you give me every reason to pour even more into your life. Understand this. There are massive treasures with your name on them that have been locked away for years, waiting for your heart to be strong enough to carry them without breaking. Everything changes today. I can see a profound awakening taking place deep inside your spirit, a fresh wind breathing life into your faith. As the light of true understanding finally breaks over you, it signals me to hand you the keys I have kept reserved for this very hour. These are not mere trinkets. They are keys of divine authority. They carry the power to open doors that once locked you out, to bring you into rooms where you were once rejected, and to sign agreements you could only dream of from afar. I'm giving you the authority to revive dead dreams, to clear confusing debts, to mend broken bonds, to reclaim lost ventures, and to access wealth you never knew I stored up for you. My child, realize that the blessings you thought were lost forever have merely been resting in the shadows, waiting for my voice to call them out. Locked funds, stalled agreements, missed chances, and dormant dreams are all waking up under the touch of my spirit today. I am stirring the hearts of people who forgot you, forcing them to remember your name. Closed doors will suddenly seek you out. Those who doubted your worth will realize you are the missing piece they desperately need. When I set things in motion, they move by the supernatural design of my kingdom, defying all human logic. You will know beyond doubt that I did this, because it will defy your math, while perfectly fulfilling my word. You must understand, my beloved, that this favor was not just created yesterday. It was established for you before the foundation of the world. I have simply been waiting for your heart to beat in perfect rhythm with mine, so I could finally release it. Your humility, your gratitude, and your posture of worship are the very channels through which my river flows. In seasons past, you trusted me, but you doubted your own worth, and that hesitation acted like a dam blocking the fullness of my grace. But today, as your spirit grows firm and our union becomes deeper, you are standing on solid ground you have never walked before, ready to receive everything I have preserved for you. As I look at you now, I see your heart opening wide. And when your heart opens, the floodgates of heaven open with it. Look at how far we have come, you and I, to reach this very moment. When you reach out your hand to me, I do not merely grant your surface requests. I pour out what I fashioned for you in eternity. My love for you cannot be shaken, and my desire is to walk with you into a season where my beauty is stamped on everything you touch. Some gifts were delayed to shield you from battles you were not yet strong enough to fight. But now that your soul has grown deep and your eyes look to me instead of just seeking riches, nothing remains to hold back your inheritance. I promise you that every dry riverbed in your life will run wild with fresh water again. The barren lands you thought were dead will bloom with vibrant flowers. Heavy gates that were locked tight will swing open effortlessly, because I have written your name on them with my own finger. Believe my voice. Every dream that was put on a shelf, hidden away, or delayed because the timing was wrong, is now being brought into the light. Stolen wealth will return. Wounded hearts will heal. Doors that others stole from you will find their way back to you in this perfect season. I am not just restoring your losses, I am multiplying them. This is not for your pride, but to show you my pure goodness. Once you understand this truth deep in your soul, no force can steal the abundance I am bringing. You will tell the tale of this path to others, not as a victim who barely survived the fire, but as a conqueror who was set free by my hand. Your testimony will become a powerful melody of hope, reminding the weary that I am still on the throne and still moving on behalf of my children. You will look at the giants that once paralyzed you with fear and smile, knowing I was walking right beside you. When the impossible happens before your eyes, you will know it was my hand that pulled you out of the deepest pit. In that bright hour of blessing, the purpose of every dark valley will finally be clear. We have walked this long road together, you and I, through seasons of quiet waiting, searching, molding, and preparation. It was all necessary so that you would not only receive my blessing, but have the strength to keep it. My favor is not a prize for those who never fail. It is a gift for those who simply let me lead them. You let me guide you. You let me correct and refine your soul when it hurt. Because you yielded, you are ready to inherit the season you have longed for. Now rise up and claim what I speak over your life today. I'm releasing a wave of deliverance, restoration, and heavy eternal prosperity. What was locked is opening. What was lost is returning. Listen closely, my beloved child, because everything you thought was gone forever is about to breathe with new life. I'm returning every single thing that carries your name, and it will be restored to you in overflowing measure. No dark force, no earthly delay, and no shadow can block what I have personally set aside for your destiny. The hour has finally come for me to pull back the curtain on all the secret work I have been doing behind the scenes of your existence. You have been looking down the same old, worn-out paths, but your answer is coming from a place you never would have guessed. I have already redirected the winds and softened frozen hearts, forcing people who once walked right past you to turn around. They are coming back to you now, guided by a whisper they cannot ignore. This sudden urge rising up within them is my voice alone echoing in their quietest moments. You will see hands that were once cold and indifferent reach out to you with warmth. Powerful business owners who used to treat your name like a meaningless number on a page are going to feel a sudden restless stirring. They will find themselves compelled to offer you support, to hand you new opportunities, and to open doors you could never knock down on your own. It is not because they suddenly became kind, but because I have placed a trembling deep in their spirits. Even the cold institutions and frustrating offices that once buried you in endless paperwork will suddenly turn to favor you in a way only heaven can direct. When I speak a decree from my heavenly throne, not a single earthly system has the power to stand against it. Your name, which was so easily tossed aside by men, is now being permanently sealed by my own spoken word. Once I set my seal upon you, no power in heaven, on earth, or in the deep darkness can ever erase what I have written. You and I both know how many times you felt like you were standing right on the edge of your breakthrough, only to watch an invisible force pull it away at the last second. I have heard you cry out in the dark, asking why the very doors meant for your joy kept slamming shut, even after you gave me your whole heart, worked yourself to exhaustion, and prayed through tears. In your quietest moments of despair, you whispered to yourself that you had failed. But that was never the truth. You were simply fighting against spiritual forces that your human eyes could not see. It was never about a lack of faith, though you constantly blamed yourself for not being strong enough. No, the blessing I am preparing to drop into your life is so massive that it sent shockwaves through the dark realms, forcing the enemy to throw up roadblocks just to exhaust you. I'm not merely giving you a basic financial recovery, my child. I am delivering your entire bloodline from generations of limitation and breaking the curses that bound your family. I am restoring your honor, not just your wallet. For so many years I have watched the quiet ache you carry deep inside your soul. I see the wealth and assets that belong to you currently locked away in vaults that do not belong to you. I see the divine privileges I meant for your life being enjoyed by those who mock my name. Those gifts meant for your family were stolen and handed to people outside of my covenant. But I am now reopening the books. I am personally rewriting the ledgers, correcting every twisted transaction, and redirecting the flow back to you, because you carry my seal. This is the moment I shift the tide, exchange the rulers, reclaim what was stolen, and breathe new life into the silent promises you thought were dead. Every single blessing that is about to fall into your hands will be far more than just the reward for your hard work. It is my loud declaration that your time has finally arrived. You are stepping completely out of the shadow of ancestral failures and leaving behind every cruel label people tried to stick on you. I am tearing up the false script that a counterfeit destiny tried to write for your life. None of the agonizing delays you faced were empty space. They were battlegrounds where I was fighting for you, preparing a solid new foundation rather than a quick fix. You are not entering this glorious season with empty, tired hands, but with the entire host of heaven pushing you forward. Right now, I am moving the hands of complete strangers behind the scenes, using them as my instruments to clear your path. You and I are going to watch as things that once seemed completely disconnected suddenly come together in perfect order. The answers will arrive in ways you cannot possibly predict, because I refuse to let your blessings be limited by your narrow human thinking. Let this truth sink deep into your spirit. When I ordain a transfer, absolutely nothing can stop it. When I speak, the universe obeys, and every enemy must retreat. What belongs to you cannot remain in the hands of another when I call your name. You will watch lost opportunities return to you bigger and better than before. Understand that I am not just making minor tweaks to your life. I am completely reorganizing the spiritual atmosphere around you. My child, all of heaven has stood up in agreement over this divine shift. Every single tear you cried over lack and struggle was just the opening chapter to a story of abundance that your grandchildren will talk about for generations. So I need you to stop staring at the doors that slammed shut. Stop crying over the people who walked away from you, Do not waste another moment worrying about delayed dreams. Open your soul wide to what I am carrying to you now. It is total restoration, absolute vindication, and a great transfer. You are not a survivor. You are my heir. My promises run much deeper than anything you have heard so far, and what I am doing next will leave you breathless. I am not going to stop at just handing back what was stolen from you. I want to bless you with the things you were too afraid to even pray for. Remember, my child, I am nothing like the flawed humans who have let you down. I do not forget my own. I do not look away. I am the Lord your God, the one who searches the deepest chambers of your heart and sees everything done in the dark. I know every bitter pill of humiliation you had to swallow, and I have heard every whisper spoken against you. I kept those records, not to judge you, but to use them as evidence to justify your restoration. My eyes trace every secret motive of your soul. Hearing each heavy sigh you released into the midnight silence, I saw every single time you kept your integrity pure when people treated you like dirt. I watched you choose not to strike back when you had the perfect chance, choosing instead to lean on me when the whole world told you to walk away. I remember every quiet act of loyalty, every time you refused to cut corners or take dishonest money, even when you were desperate. The world might think you were a fool for being so honest, but to me, those moments are brilliant jewels stored in your heavenly record. Today, at my appointed hour, I am using them to defend, deliver, and restore you. Let me be clear. I am not rising to fight for you because you have achieved some level of perfect holiness, but because I am eternally faithful to my own promises. I am acting on your behalf because of the sacred covenant I wrapped around your life. This is not about you doing everything right. It is about me being a God who never breaks his word. Because men dragged your name through the mud, because they laughed at you and mocked your dreams, and because you were humiliated in the very places where you deserved honor, my divine justice demands a response. Today, I'm stepping onto the scene to completely reverse the tables and rewrite the narrative they wrote about you. My hands are carefully gathering up every broken piece of honor you dropped along the rough roads of your past. I'm collecting the fragments of every false accusation and misunderstanding, piecing them together into a beautiful new reality that will leave you absolutely speechless. You and I are going to step into those places you cannot reach on your own, right into the secret rooms where decisions were made without my consent. You thought those rejections were just bad timing, but they were battles between light and shadow over your future. Now I am laying my sovereign hand upon those boardrooms, overturning their verdicts, and erasing every decision that did not come from me. With a single breath, I am wiping away the toxic words that locked you into a cage of limitation. Because I cherish your soul and cannot bear to hear you groan in pain any longer, I am restoring everything stolen from you. I will return the money you were forced to surrender, the golden opportunities you were blocked from, the broken relationships that should have been blessings, and the credit for all the hard work others stolen from you. I saw every single act of injustice, though I do not always stop them instantly because I respect divine timing. I have never once forgotten. Today we are turning the page together as I rewrite your financial story, using my own hand instead of fading human ink. Hear my voice, for the hour has come to open a completely new chapter over your life. I am rewriting your story, and from this day forward, you will no longer be defined by the heavy weight of old failures, past debts, or the stumblings of your youth. Instead, you are defined by my grace and the new arrangements I have personally set in motion for you. I put an absolute end to those invisible declarations of the dark that whispered you would never amount to anything. Today, I annul every silent spiritual verdict that sat over your life like an endless prison sentence. You have wondered why you faced such bitter trials, even as a small child, when doors closed before you could even walk. I saw how opportunities slipped away from your grasp, how adults refused to believe you, and how the deep wounds of the heart came far too early in your life. You began to believe this was simply your unlucky fate. But I tell you, the enemy had already caught the scent of the uncommon destiny I placed on you. The dark could read my fingerprints on your future. It recognized that if you walked the path I ordained, you would shake the world and show my power to lift a soul from the deepest pit into a spacious place. That is why it attacked you when you were still young and tender, unable to guard your heart or separate my true voice from the voice of lies. But I am your shield. Those closed doors at the very beginning of your life were never random. They were deliberate blows meant to cut you off from me, to make you believe that I am not enough, and to leave you too afraid to knock on any other doors. The enemy wanted you to retreat and settle for a life far below the beautiful abundance I prepared for you. This is why your daily work became a battleground. The place you thought was safe turned into a cage of relentless tension. Where you should have flourished and grown, you felt choked. You poured out your heart only to receive deep wounds in return. But I have watched every struggle, and I am turning that battlefield into a place of victory. Every time your name was erased from the list, every project snatched from your hands, and every promise of partnership that suddenly dissolved, none of it was purely human. These were spiritual arrows, targeted directly at the identity I placed deep inside you. When you tasted the bitterness of mockery, contempt, and false accusations, the darkness wanted you to believe those lies were your true reflection. It whispered that you were useless, untrustworthy, and a failure, hoping you would surrender and never dare to approach my throne of grace with boldness. But I know who you truly are, and my truth stands firm above every lie they ever spoke against you. How many times have you endured the sting of slander, the pain of twisted words, and the whispers behind your back? These attacks were carefully engineered to break your inner pillar, to make you forget who you are in me. But my child, in the midst of the roaring storm, I never stepped away. When no one understood your heart, I did. When no one believed in you, I still believed. Others looked at a single broken moment and judged you, but I saw your entire life from the beginning. Even when you bowed your head and thought your life was over, I saw the unwritten chapters of your glory. You thought all was lost, but I held your destiny safe in my hands. In this quiet moment, I am not speaking to you just to offer comfort. I am stepping in to restore your honor, especially in your finances, the very area where you have carried so much shame, hurt, and inadequacy before others. I will not perform this work in secret. I will do it openly, so that those who watched your struggle will have to stand as witnesses to your divine restoration. My supernatural provision will enter your home and your work, disguised in beautifully ordinary ways, without any loud fanfare. You will begin to notice quiet miracles and strange, sudden alignments that look like simple coincidences to the world, but are truly my hand at work. An unexpected phone call from someone who seemed to have forgotten you, a long-postponed opportunity suddenly coming back to life, an old debt settled out of nowhere, or a lost file processed in your favor. These are my signs. You will marvel as the windows of heaven open, not with loud thunder, but through quiet, powerful details. It will be a reply email after months of silence, a new contract born from a passing connection, a sudden, steady income, or an idea I planted in your mind becoming a reality. Do not call this luck, and do not thank the universe. These are the unmistakable marks of my own hand, moving heaven and earth on your behalf to bring you peace. Your name, which they thought was erased from the list, ignored at the bottom of the page, and left unmentioned in meetings, that very name I am bringing back, I will write it boldly into the story, and they will have to acknowledge that I myself have chosen you. I am the Lord who honors names, and when I decide to lift you up, no earthly power can continue to trample you. Do not look back at the painful years and think they were wasted. I am using those exact years as the steady foundation for your coming restoration. I will transform your deepest wounds into wisdom, teaching you to recognize true holy blessings from the sweet traps of this world. I will use your past rejection to build a heart in you that truly cherishes the people by your side. I will use your pain to deepen your compassion, so that when I lift you up, you will never look down on those who still stand where you once struggled. Remember this one truth: I am actively at work in your life. What I have started, I will complete. I do not stop halfway. I will bring your story to a place of such wonder that you will look back and say, if it had not been for the Lord, I would never have made it. My child, I am the Lord God who shapes time and weaves your story with endless mercy, and my hand has never left you, not even for a single moment. Every event you thought was random, every cycle that felt completely meaningless, is actually part of a sacred map that only I can see in full. I saw each time you stood up after a crushing failure, every long night you spent awake under the heavy weight of financial worry, and every sigh you swallowed just to keep holding on to your faith. You think these quiet battles are too small to matter, but to me, they are precious stones upon my altar. They show a heart that chooses to believe, even when the world tries to crush your hope. Engrave this truth on your soul. Not one of your steps is stray. Not one drop of your sweat is lost, and none of your prayers fall into the empty air. I, the creator of heaven and earth, have held your entire life in the palm of my hand since before time began. When you walked by faith through your most exhausted days, I recorded every single step, like a father watching his child learn to walk on rough, uneven ground. I did not just watch you, I held you up. I guided your path, and I gently healed the hidden, broken places inside your soul that no one else could see. You thought your small steps could never move the massive doors of heaven, but in my kingdom, nothing done in faith is small. I do not ask for giant strides, only that you walk with a true heart. Your trembling, tearful steps are far more precious to me than proud strides. Your quiet, faithful steps are written in my eternal book as a beautiful testimony that you refused to give up. I have seen every moment of your generosity, every single cent you offered to me, even when bills were piling up, and every act of kindness you showed others while you were still in deep lack. You cannot comprehend how much this means to me. Hear me clearly. What you sow out of your own empty pockets carries infinitely more spiritual weight than what others give from their abundance. When you share what you need most, it becomes a holy seed that breaks generational curses of poverty. I have guarded these seeds, and I am preparing to sow them into rich, fertile ground. Now, my beloved child, I make this holy declaration. Your season of harvest has finally arrived. The financial breakthrough bearing your name is not a sudden thought. It was written in my book before you were even formed in the womb. I have signed this promise with heavenly ink that time can never fade. No human jealousy can erase it. No earthly interference can damage what I have ordained, and no dark power can steal it from you. I will not leave your miracle hanging incomplete. I finish everything I start at the perfect appointed time, and nothing can stand in my way. Every curse hovering over your family name is about to be burned away under the brilliant light of my glory. Listen closely, for you and I are going to walk into a truth that will change everything for you. When my scripture declares, "If God is for us, who can be against us?" it is an unshakable reality, not a hollow consolation. What I have built for you, no hand can ruin, no enemy can steal, and no force can ever edit. I never write your life story in fading pencil. I carve it with my own sovereign power. You have feared that you missed your season, that you were lagging behind and forgotten. But my timing is not like human timing. Mortals measure by years, while I measure by purpose. When I say it is time, all of heaven moves to fulfill my decree. The heavy clouds of lack are parting right now, and the dull sky above you is pulling back to reveal what I have long prepared. You are crossing into a brand new cycle, a fresh rhythm of life, and a vision you have never seen before. I am leading you, personally, into a completely new existence. This will not be a life of quiet resignation, but one overflowing with my peace, my abundance, and the rock-solid stability that only my hand can provide. But oh, my child, hear me clearly now, for this determines how you maintain the blessing. When my gifts begin to overflow, you must always remember that I am the source. When your bank accounts swell, when business deals are finalized, and when financial doors swing wide open, keep your heart soft. So many do not fail during the struggle. They fail after the miracle, believing their own hands brought them victory. The enemy of your soul does not just want to empty your wallet. His true target is your gratitude. He knows that the very moment your thankfulness dies, the windows of heaven close over your head. Gratitude is the sacred key that locks the doors of heavenly blessing open forever. It is not just a warm emotion, but a deep spiritual power that keeps the currents of supernatural provision flowing. A grateful heart will never run dry. A grateful family will always find a wellspring of abundance, and a grateful legacy will carry my blessings down through generations. Do you see what I am doing, my child? I am not merely transforming your finances. I am building a brand new culture within you. A culture of those who know they live entirely by my grace, not by their own skill. My beloved child, my deepest desire is to give you my absolute best. But my best is not defined by mountains of wealth. It is a heart that beats close to mine. If your soul remains anchored in me, then every blessing I pour into your life will remain safe. But if you begin to drift away from my presence, even the greatest abundance will transform into a heavy burden. I do not want you carrying heavy weights. I want you carrying my light, free-flowing blessings. I want my goodness to be a rushing river in your life, not a boulder on your shoulders. Keep your gratitude alive. As long as you are thankful, heaven stays open. My hand remains outstretched, and my angels will never stop moving all around you. Step into this new day with open hands and a tender heart. Never forget that my goal is not just to hand you blessings. I want to give you a new perspective so you can steward them well. You will witness a transformation unlike anything you have ever known, a rhythm of life that bears no resemblance to your past. The ways I will move on your behalf will leave you amazed day after day, and you will remember that it all started with a simple, grateful heart. As you step into this prepared season, realize that I am putting more than just outward restoration into your hands. I am expanding your inner authority. That is why I teach you to be faithful in the smallest matters. Those little trials are not there to torment you, but to refine your soul until you are truly sensitive, humble, and steady. When you keep your heart upright in the hidden, trivial things that no one else notices, you are laying a strong foundation for the great responsibilities I'm preparing to hand you. In my kingdom, every increase begins with quiet faithfulness. When you cherish the little, you clear the path for me to set you over much. I do not just want to hand you gifts. I want to endow you with spiritual authority so you can navigate the storms, stand unshaken, and carry my light into dark places that others have abandoned. Therefore, guard your life, your talents, and your miracles with a profound reverence for me. This sacred awe is not a trembling, paralyzed terror, but a deep recognition that every good thing in your life flows directly from my hand. When you place me above everything else in your life, my blessings are instantly preserved from every form of decay. My heart rejoices when I see you learning to share wisely, rather than just hoarding my gifts. I love watching you discern the difference between a true movement of compassion and a sudden emotional impulse. I want you to be a giver who is guided by my Holy Spirit, not by fleeting feelings. You see, giving is not always true love, just as receiving is not always a true blessing. When you bring an offering to me, I want you to build altars of worship deep within your soul. These are not altars made of stone or wood, but altars built of pure gratitude, constructed from the very things you return to my hands that I gave you first. When you lay these offerings in the right place before me, they become sacred marks upon your life. They become coordinates of grace, where I pour out strength and divine protection. You have no idea how many times I have shielded you from hidden disasters, simply because of a quiet, sincere act of generosity. Every time you return a portion of what I gave you back into my hands, heaven records it as a bold declaration. It proves you do not belong to fear or lack, but to the source of life that never runs dry. You and I both know the secret paths of those deserts you walked through when no one else was watching. Now I am calling you to become a comfort to those walking in the very footprints you left behind, for you know their unspoken despair. These hurting souls dare not pray out loud because the things they long for feel impossibly far away. For this very reason, when you reach out your hand to guide them, your heart carries the deep compassion I cultivated in you through your own trials. You will not help them from a place of pity, but from true understanding. You do not rescue them as one who looks down, but as one who remembers what it feels like to be rescued. That is what makes you different. I created you to be a flowing stream, not a stagnant pool. You were never meant to hoard blessings, but to pour them out. A reservoir fills and dries up, but a channel grows clearer the more it flows. The more it gives, the more I supply it. This is the math of my kingdom. Sow generously and reap in abundance. You never need to fear loss when you give, because your provision does not come from human hands. It comes directly from me. I know the deep, silent reasons why you have waited so long for this miracle. It was never just about your own comfort. Your heart is much wider than you realize. You think constantly of your children, of the home you long to shelter, of your spouse who walked beside you through the coldest seasons. You think of the parents who held you up when you could not stand, and those who offered a word of hope when you were drowning. You do not ask for my blessings merely to possess them. You ask so you can repay kindness, restore honor, secure a future for your kids, and bring hope to those who look to you. I cherish those motives. You seek sufficiency so you can protect what I have entrusted to your care. You do not crave the fleeting applause of the world. You long for a deep, true peace, so that no one in your household ever has to tremble in fear again. You do not chase empty glitter or outward show. You desire to live uprightly, generously, and with a light heart. I have seen these pure desires in you for a long time, and I know that when I place my abundance in your hands, you will not use it to wound others or to boast. You will use it to build, to heal, and to restore. I watched you through those dark days when you felt utterly abandoned. Yet you remained faithful, even when an abyss of despair opened up before you. You clung tightly to my promises and kept your hands clean. But you, my child, are different. You have walked through the fire without letting bitterness take root in your soul. You have passed through deep waters without letting yourself drown. And you have endured my silence without ever walking away from me. I treasure this deeply. When I find someone who keeps their heart steadfast, Even when they do not receive what they hoped for, I know I can entrust them with greater things. I have no fear that pride or selfish ambition will sweep you away. I have weighed your faithfulness in my silence, and now I show you that none of your trials were in vain. You have matured in true humility. You do not ask for blessings to flaunt them, but to lift up the fallen and break the heavy financial burdens that have bound your family for years. For this very reason, I am granting you this divine release. I do this not because you are perfect, but because you have allowed me to mold you. I do this not because you are strong, but because you have learned to lean entirely on my strength. You are not receiving this because you are worthy by human standards, but because you are deeply loved according to the standard of heaven. I know the blessings I place in your hands will never become a trap for your soul, because you have been refined long enough to understand that my gifts are meant to set people free, not to bind them. I trust you, my child, because you walked through the scorching fire and kept your heart soft, and you weathered the storms while keeping your eyes lifted constantly toward me. I look deep into your soul, and I do not see raw ambition, but a quiet, beautiful readiness. I do not see a craving for worldly fame, but an aching longing to redeem everything you have lost. You do not seek extravagance, only a life of gentle peace, and it is this pure heart that moves me to open doors no man can shut. This is no ordinary favor. It is a divine deliverance, a shifting of the currents, a clean slate. I have prepared this season to set you free, so that you may go and set others free. Now that your spirit is finally still, step into my presence with your honest heart. I, your Creator, who sees the hidden depths, hear your cry for renewal. You ask me to lay my hand upon your life, to touch and heal every single corner wounded by lack, heavy debt, and bitter disappointment. I hear your plea to silence those invisible accusations that have dragged you down for years. Today, I am breaking every generational chain, tearing off every false label, and shattering the limits the enemy tried to stamp upon your name. I am parting the heavens so you can step into the abundant season I appointed for you long ago. Let me direct your steps and grant you the wisdom to steward this grace. Run to me like a child seeking shelter after a terrible storm. I know how you have wrestled in secret with finances, work, family, and your honor. Now, as you lay all these heavy burdens at my feet, I am taking sovereign lordship over every single one of your circumstances. I am leading you directly into a land of holy prosperity, a place where my blessings will not pull you away from me, but will draw you closer to my heart. I will tear away every veil of spiritual blindness that has kept you from seeing your true destiny. I am pulling you out of smallness, opening the path to the abundance I prepared for you before you were even born. I will reshape your heart to keep it tender as my miracles unfold. My hand of grace has held you when you thought you would fall, for I alone am your strength and your light in the dark. I hear your voice of thanksgiving, and I want you to know that I have never measured you by your failures, only by the infinite depth of my love. I saw you in your deepest weakness, yet I chose to call your name with the highest honor of heaven. Let this gratitude burn like an unquenchable fire within your soul. I am working behind the scenes, doing things far beyond what your eyes can see. I closed doors in your past only to protect you, and I'm opening new doors now because you are finally ready to walk through them. These miracles flow from my mercy, not your earning. Trust my wisdom, even when my paths confuse you, for I have never abandoned you for a single second. Let your heart echo with a final, faithful Amen, for my promises are true and unchanging. As you walk this path of grace with me, do not walk alone. Join hands with your brothers and sisters in my family. Subscribe to these daily words of mine. Turn on your notifications, and let us build a strong, vibrant community of living faith together. Speak my praise, and let your hallelujah rise to the heavens, knowing that I am already moving in your life. I am preparing wonders for you that will testify of my goodness to the entire world. Rest in my love, step forward in my strength, and watch how I transform everything you touch from this day forward.